Hello guys, and apologies for the rocky start. Yeah, I seem to have severe issues. So let's cross our fingers and see what happens. Yeah, I have you remember it was a bit stuttery as well last stream, and I've been sort of inquiring, and it looks like Virgin Media has ongoing serious issues around my area now. So there's not much I can do about that. Let's see if we can get it. But in the meantime, I lost a couple of things, so let's I can at least get your overlay up. There we go. Okay, let's see. Can you guys hear me? Is it okay now? Lost a few people around. So we should be better now. I need to sign into a bunch of stuff. Yeah, sound is good. Okay, fantastic. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm just re-logging in into Navigraph. No, I should need it actually. Okay. Yeah, I'm afraid my streaming streak will stop here until at least until Virgin Media can do something about it, because it's just too painful. And then also Streamlabs, every time it drops the connection, then it doesn't pick it up again. It's sorted out, so that and then you have to end the stream and start a new one. Not ideal. But anyway, we're here now at the moment. Hi Jonas, thank you for joining us. Hi Kay, in the meantime, hi Rasmus and Swappy. Thank you for bearing with me. Absolute nightmare. But the idea, so even for those who just joined now, I seem to have huge problems with Virgin Media. I'm not the only one complaining. I joined the resident whatever Facebook page today, and everybody was complaining about the connection, and Virgin Media is on it. I tried to call the customer service, and when I said the postcode, didn't even let me speak. They said, yes, we know there's a problem, we're trying to fix it. Boom, that's it. Nothing. I couldn't even say anything. But let's see if we can get anything done here. So I wanted today to do a flight to Salzburg. It's I don't know if any of you has ever been to Salzburg. It's a really fun place. There's a very exciting procedure. There's a lot of terrain all around. So if I can just bring it up quickly. There we are, just to see any approach. There we are. I don't know if any of you is familiar with this, but you can see the terrain is really dramatic. There's terrain absolutely everywhere. The only way to approach the valley is from the north, and then because here there's mountains, both they go around and circling are really tight with specific performance and tight radius and etc. But I will tell you everything about that in a minute. First of all, well, let's try, since probably our time is going to be limited, let's try and do a quick setup, a quick cold and dark. You guys have all seen a million of cold and dark, so I'm not going to go and explain every switch. If you have any questions, as usual, I like the fact that it's only few of us now. So if you have any questions about anything that you see that you do different or that you want to know more about, please feel free to ask in chat. I have the chat next to me. Otherwise, I'll just go through it, do it properly, but go it through quickly. Now, so we start engine master off, ignition normal, weather radar is off, landing gear is down, the wipers are off, battery above 25.5, and we get that up, external power available, up and running. Let's wait for the 40 seconds for the screen tests, put the radios on in the meantime, and load the plane. Today we're going to be 53.8, zero fuel weight. So we're quite light, again, because we're performance limited. So 53.8, and the fuel is going to be 5.4. There we go, that's loaded. And we should be good with the screen tests. Come on. Okay. Do APU test and we're looking for 6 items. So lights 1 and 2 on top, ECAM, master caution, APU page, and the CRC, so the chime. That's good. Then we come down. There we go. Oxygen is okay in green. Hydraulic fluid is there. Engine oil 17.5. Good. And the parking brake is on. The accumulator pressure is in the green. Parking brake pressure is 2000, and the parking brake lever is on. Let's go up. Oxygen supply on. Ground control. CVR test. 3 seconds. Captain and personnel. Oh yes, it is in brief, Rasmus. This is the British Airways format. It's the BAW format. When flying Airbus is really handy because you have information that are more relevant to what you need to input in the FMS. Everything is there at a glance. It's just a matter of personal habit, to be honest. The information is roughly the same, it's just shown in a different way. And then I'll show you in a minute. Then nav 1, 2, 3, strobe, nav logo, seatbelt, no smoking, and emergency. Landing elevation is on auto, cross bleed auto. Pack flow is gonna be low today because we have below 130 passengers. Then gen fault 1 and 2 expected, the pumps stay off. We can do the engine fire, and here we expect 7 lights and indication. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the chime. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 chime. There we go. After that, over here, no white lights. Audio switching normal, no white lights over here. And yeah, I wish the circuit breakers were modeled, but they're not. But they're all in. Hi Lee, thank you very much for bearing with me with the switching the streams. There we go on the central panel. Let's see, we have QNH, where we are in Dusseldorf today, is 1027. 1027. Landing gear is down, anti-skid is on, clock is on UTC and GPS. And then we come to the center pedestal and we have radio is on, VHF 1 and 2. Multiscan, GCS, tilt 5, cockpit door normal, switching all to normal, thrust lever 0, engine master is off, mode select on normal, rudder trim 0, parking brake is on, and gravity gear extension is stowed. On the transponder we do altitude reporting on, system 1, and we tilt it to above. We can do the MCDU. There we go, 1, 2, and let's get the plan there. Perfect. So in a page, let's load the plan. ADLLOWS, that's correct. Alternate is going to be EM. Flight number today is Win 392. Cost index 15. Cruise level 230, which is not going to be. Don't know why simply. We'll once we're in the air, we'll change it. Align the ARS. That's exciting, okay? That must have been a blast. I had the same problem once with the 767. I wanted to do an overnight and loaded the plan, and it said too many waypoints, and at which point I just rage quit it, and that's it. It was already an hour that I was trying to create everything. Never seen it on the A350. Any page is done. Flight plan. So ADDL, we're gonna be departure from right, and it's going to be a Doden 6 Zulu, no transition, temporary flight things. The arrival is gonna be ILS 15, body 1 Romeo by SPG, transition, temporary flight. That's it. Let's check it. all good. Okay, that's all done. Let's go on second in-flight plan. Let's copy the active. Let's just do coming back straight away. New destination ADL. And then we're coming back to the same runway, 05 right, star, no transit, insert. Second in-flight plan. Well, Warren, I can't, to be honest, I cannot really comment about flight factor, the A320. I know what I see from other streamers who use both and what they say about it. I'm not the biggest fan of flight factor in general, personally, because I believe they have, you know, a bit too many projects ongoing all the time. And so you can see the stark difference in looking after the updates from Toliss and from Flight Factor. They have made some great planes, but I think that when they do it, too long to sort them out. So I wish I could try the Flight Factor, but having the Toliss, I don't see the point. But it's very, very personal. Some people love the Flight Factor A320 to bits, so I cannot really, especially because I don't have it, I cannot really comment bad. Performance for the return here. Okay, QNH 1027 11 10S7 7 11 010 at 7. Then the MDA. Check the approach. 05 right and MDA 321. Go, and the go around 4,000 feet. So engine out acceleration 4,000 feet. Airport elevation is 150, so 110. 1150. And let's get charts for the airport. Departure. Okay, now this trip we've done the second referral plan. Rad nav, we leave it to auto tune. It's working. Thank you, VT, for being back. And rad nav is done. Init page. I'm doing this PD golden dart to try and get us away. 53.8, 28.4, 53.8 there, and we go. Block fuel 5.4, 5.4 requested, 5.4 there, 5.4 on board. Okay, now let's see if we can do winds. Before I do that, wind, cruise wind, and let's put this one, should be close enough. Comes from sky, active sky. There we go. After this, I'll check. First I put the winds and then I adjust the fuel prediction, so to make sure that that's relevant with the winds. Then reserve, diversion, and final. 0.61, no, 0.6. Let's put 0.7, 0.9, 0.9. And 1, and we still have an extra 400 kilo. That's good. No, I didn't have. Sorry, Vision, you're asking which graphic cards I have, or why was I having problem with the stream? One of the two. So there we go. Which I have an RTX 2070. Not really top of the range, but it does the job. And not to answer the second question, I wasn't having problem with the graphic card, I was having problem with the internet connection, just in case it's one or the other. Okay, now that's it. Init P, then we'll do the proc page, EDDL05 right, and then we do the performance. Before entering the performance, let's check that we're not taking an intersection. No, let's do it full length. We're close enough. We're gonna go from L9, so we don't put takeoff shift there. We'll do full length. Flaps 1. It's not a neo, so we don't need to put the THS there. Flex temp is gonna be 66. Engine out acceleration, we said 150. 150. Here we are, V1 133. 13 VR 1 5. Here we go. Yeah, 147, that's correct. Okay, and that's done. Performance is done, that's all loaded. We'll do quickly EFIS, so 1027 on both sides. Constraint, we don't need the ILS. Here we leave arc 10, here we leave arc 40, dashed. ADs is still aligning, so the heading is still numbered, so we'll wait for that. Initial altitude, I don't. Transition altitude of 5000. The bars are not applicable. Initial climb clearance 5000 feet. There we go. Let's dash now. IRS are aligned. Let's call the pushback.
Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit.
And we put it there. Okay, we leave the performance page. Performance page here. Flight plan page here. No, I'm not flying online, Rasmus, because I'm making these videos to do very particular approaches and procedures. So if I was on VATSIM, of course I couldn't do them, or I would have trouble doing them. Today I want to do a go around and then a circle to land, so it wouldn't be possible on VATSIM. I like to fly on VATSIM, but maybe I'll do a stream, Virgin Media permitting. I'll do a stream, a normal flight once on VATSIM. There we go. So let's do a quick briefing for today. Now, departure briefing. We are flying from Dusseldorf to Salzburg today. Threats on departure, nothing, no particular threats. In terms of weather here, it's very nice. Wind variable at 7 knots. Direction variable of 320 to yeah, so we might have a slight left crosswind, so we'll do at least a bit of right rudder on departure. Cloud scatter at 3-4, visibility is 10 plus, perfect. So if we need to come back, we'll come back to the same airport. We are parked over here today, so we'll push back as we just plan to face north, and then we'll taxi all the way via Mike to Lima 9 for runway 05 right. 05 right is 3000 feet, so flaps 1, normal performance, absolutely fine. Then, yeah, that's A350. A350 lightweight and with low fuel. It's actually, it's incredible. You have a V up of 130. So it's, I'm sure it's perfectly fine as long as you have low fuel. Very lightweight. It's a beast. I took it into Innsbruck and it was like an A319. There we are continuing the, sorry, got sidetracked there. Data, aircraft status. So we're flying today an A319 100 with CFM engines. No, it's not actually. Eurowings uses IE engines. Let's do it properly. With IE engines. ARAC cycle is current and performance is loaded for the plane. Init page, we're flying, as I said, Dusseldorf to Salzburg. We're going to be Eurowings 9392, cruising at flight level 23 data, and the weights are 53.8, matching the operational flight plan. Block fuel 5.5 as requested, and we good flight plan departing from runway 05 right. The procedure here is going to be fly straight and then turn right then right again at VOR. There's only one restriction of altitude about 600, which is here, and no speed constraints and no other altitude constraints apart from the 250 below 10,000. So we're good, there's nothing there. The length is 337 against an operational flight plan of 360. Cutting. It is correct. And the time is 58 minutes. Fine. That nav is auto-tuned, proc page, optimal 370. So we won't make it 370 as a short flight, but we'll get as close as possible. Performance is loaded. We're gonna have 05 right, full length, flaps 1, flex temp 66, and the speed 135, clean 3. The thrust reduction acceleration is gonna be 1. It's a standard. And the fuel prediction, we're planning to arrive with 3.0, and the operational flight plan says 2.5, so we have 500 kilos extra. Second flight plan, we loaded and it's coming back. That's it. Any questions? We're all good, ready to start. Perfect. After this, let's get the review started. I could have started actually before the briefing. It's fine. Let's do checklist. There we are. Let's assume, of course, we have clearance. We would always do the briefing after getting the clearance, so we know that we're briefing the correct departure. There we are. Before start, checklist, cockpit preparation completed. Barrel F is 1027 on both, and we're indicating 160, and we're at 150, so that's good. ACARS is initialized. Parking brake is on, and it's showing here, parking braking on. Fuel on board 5.4 and ballast. NEP is being loaded. Flex temp is 66, and the speeds are 133, 133, and 135. Get the start clearance, so let's call ground and ask for push. Let's pretend we're authorized to push. Beacon goes on. Cockpit door locked. And the transponder goes to exponder. Jetbreeze is retracting. The doors are all closed and the slides are armed and the windows. So before start checklist, below the line signs on and auto. On and auto, and we have seatbelts and no smoking on the ECAM. Beacon is on. ATC is on transponder, and we have TICA standby here. Nose wheel steering disconnect and is disconnected again. ECAM. Doors are closed. Like that door is locked. Before start checklist complete. We can push back.
Starting pushback, and you may start the engines.
Yeah, well, let's start the block timer over here. There we go. APU bleed, the pumps. Fuel pumps are on. There we go. So we're good to start the engine. Mode selector to start. We have bleed pressure. And we can start engine number 2. Start the timer to monitor the start. I had no. That's the fun fact of the day, Doctor on board. I have absolutely no idea. Ha ha ha. What are you cooking today? Ha ha ha. I need to ask actually one a very close friend of mine. She's half Thai and half Italian. Never learned anything. Zero. Okay, good start. There we go, 2246, and we're good. Good start engine number 2, we can start engine number 1.
Operation complete. Please set parking brake.
The parking brake.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Fuel flow. EGT rising. And voila. Perfect. Good start on engine number 1. We're good to go. So, engine mode selector on normal. APU bleed off. Engine eye and TIs, we're not gonna need it. 11 degrees now. Clouds are a bit higher, so for now we'll leave engine and TIs off. APU comes off.
Disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. I'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
And then we leave the PM, the pilot monitoring ground, spoiler armed, rudder trim 0. The actual trim is 29.6. Should be around about there. 29.6, the flaps 1, and we are good. Our friend is there with the pin in the hand, and that's good. So let's request taxi. Once we have taxi, as we said, we're gonna do via mic. So left turn P1, Papa 1, and Lima 9 for runway 05 right. Runway turn off on, taxi on, and we're good. Release the brake. Let's check the pressure dropping. Yeah, parking brake released. Clear left, clear right. There we go. Do a brake check and make sure that the pressure doesn't increase. Yeah, pressure 0. Sorry guys, I've been naughty. I'm trying to do this quick to get on the way, but after that checklist we haven't done it. Ground clearance is seen, anti-ice off. We said flaps 1 plus F, green, 1 blue. APU is off, and yellow electric pump is off, and ECAM status is good. Okay, we're turning left on taxiway Mike. Oh, there's news. I have finally rudder pedals, which is great, really nice. Problem is, every time I land, I forget I have them, and I nearly come off the runway before I realize. I try and twist the joystick, trying to stay on center line, and it fails miserably. I remember I have the pedals. So a little job, if anybody's going to be here for landing, please remind me I have rudder pedals. There we go. So, little quick pre-departure brief. Yeah, it looks like we're pointing the right way as we are taking off the other way around. So we're gonna, as we said, we are going to climb straight and then turn right and right again. No constraint. Initial stop altitude 5,000 and transition level is 5,000 feet. The MSA in the area is 2,800. Where we're going, so we'll be clear of MSA very quickly. Now let's do thank you thank you Victor Tango. Okay, let's do weather radar on, predictive wind shear warning auto, TARA terrain on ND, auto brake max, and that's it. And at this point let's do our before takeoff checklist. Flight controls, let's check them now actually. A second, I'm trying to do L9 is there. Okay, let's do the flight controls first. Pull up, pull down, neutral, pull left, pull right, neutral, and rudder. Find. Oh, now there you see that's the still there. Okay, rudder left, it's rudder right. Damn muscle memory. There we go. So TCAS TA array, so we have TA only on the ND, confirming load sheet is the knowledge. Trims we said 29.6 and 0, so we have 29.6 and 0. Departure briefing is confirmed. Takeoff data we have 133, 135, climb knife blue, 1 FT2 5000 and flex 66. Flaps is 1 plus F green and 1 blue on the Mach 2, and ICA memo is takeoff, no blue. Kai, what joystick do you have, and which axis flickers? Is it the twist? What is the nose wheel steering or the rudder? There we go. So let's pretend we have clearance now. So we get strobe on, landing lights, all the lights on, Christmas lights included, and packs off. So before takeoff checklist below the line, takeoff runway 05 right, we confirm it here. Cabin crew signal is given, we flick the no smoking lights, and the packs are off before takeoff checklist complete. Yeah, Kai, the twist axis, if it flickers, I had a very big issue with that. So as I was turning, you can see here now it's nice and smooth, but it kept doing like that all the time. So it was a huge problem taxing. And now, technically, if that is exactly the problem you're experiencing, it could be, well, of course, I don't know, not seeing it, but it could be an issue with the assembling inside. So the options are either return it, complain and return it and get a new one. I did something that technically should not be done. My own risk, I opened it and I sorted it and I found the instructions online. But of course, the moment you unscrew even a single screw, you lose the warranty. So it's up to you, really. But I don't know if it's the same issue, you know, unless I saw exactly the behavior, I wouldn't. There is a problem where the cables that come from the top of the joystick pass on top of the sensor for the twist, and there's a lot of cables and they tighten around this sensor, and so when you try and move it, it scratches against these cables, and that's the issue. So that could be what you're having. Okay, ready to go. Let's so the chrono, you can see here, 8 minutes. So for the A319 with the IE, we need 5 minutes of engine warm-up. So we're 8 minutes and we're good. And we check the brake temperature needs to be below 150 and we're good to go. So now we spool up to... What's it doing? Okay, sorry, my thrust levers were misbehaving. Man flex 66 SRS runway, auto thrust blue. Hold the joystick down. Takeoff thrust is set, so we check the two numbers. 100 knots. Checked. Forgot I had the pedals for a second. V1, rotate. There we go, pitch up. All the way, 15 degrees and leave it there, don't follow the flight directors. Positive rate, gear up. Autopilot 1. Lever climb, wait for the arrow to go up. So the speed to be positive. There we go. Thrust climb. Auto thrust. We can put pack 1 back on. Pack 2 back on. We're in climb nav, alt blue 5000. Airspeed coming up. Flaps 0. At this point, spoiler disarmed, all the lights are off. We're 2000 feet from the initial altitude, reduced to 1500 vertical speed. VT backs off is, it depends on the airline, but pretty much all of them do it now. If you're on flex takeoff, by putting the packs off, you don't take air away from the engines. So that air stays and cools down the engine more, so the engine will operate at a lower temperature, and that means less maintenance. So it just extends the life of the engines and give you less cost in terms of maintenance. Kai, that's for the States. So in the US, you need to have the lights on below flight level 100. In Europe, there's no need. Pilots I know from BA, from EasyJet, and etc., they put the lights on arrival as low as when they extend the gear. Literally when they extend the gear. And in the States, it's a different thing. It needs to be at 10,000 feet. There we go. So let's pretend we have clearance to climb to 230. So Eurowings 9392 climb flight level 230, and they set flight level. So as soon as we pull this one, we set standard set and cross-checked, and then we call the FMA thrust climb, open climb, alt blue 230. Remember, the landing lights create drag, Kai. The landing lights on the Airbus, they increase fuel consumption by 2%, which is a lot of fuel. So imagine all the fuel consumed going up to 10,000, 2% of that for thousands of flights they do. It's a lot of money. Yeah, and the packs, so if you're doing flex temp, the packs off give you more just extended life for the engines and lower maintenance, while if you're doing a toga, let's put the anti-ice on, going through the clouds. If you're doing toga, it gives you more performance. So especially short runway and etc., you want the packs off if you're doing toga, because you have more performance. Anti-ice can go off. I leave this one up, guys, if that's okay for you. It's just because I'm getting used to try and make sure that I call all the enunciation and etc., which is the vital part of flying. Just getting used to it for the line check. Now, above 10,000 feet, a few things. So we call flight level 105, climbing flight level 230, standard set. That's just a check. Then we go and check the lights. Lights are all off. Seatbelts can come off. We do the EFIS, so we put airport on one of the two sides. The other one we leave the constraint. At this point, the R can go to 40. ECAM, there's no messages. We're all good. Yeah, of course, packs, of course, it's always the COVID, yes, perfectly right, Rasmus. Now, because of COVID, airlines are using packs on at all time. So if they need performance, they'll use the APU instead of turning the packs off, but just because they need air circulation in the cabin because of COVID. But it is totally out of SOP, it's just because of COVID. And that's been done. And then over here in the MCDU, RATNAV, it's all clean, nothing was hard tuned. Proc page optimal is 37, and we're cruising at 2.3, so we want to change that. What are we gonna do? Let's check how far is the top of descent. 229, so we have plenty of space. Let's climb to 310. So there's no need to change in the init page when you climb. It does it automatically, as you can see. If you descend, you need to change it in the init page, but if you climb, there's no need. So 310, and now the top of descent is at 196. So at this point, we're planning to arrive with 3.2, and we needed 2.5. So what we can do to get there a bit faster, we can change the cost index and put 50 and see how that changes. See now that the cost index has increased. Also, it gives you more time in cruise. So it gave us another 10 miles of cruise by increasing the cost index. And the destination fuel on board is still 3.1. There you go. So cost index is very useful to manipulate when you need to do certain things, like if you need to climb a little faster. I don't know if for any reason you want to be in cruise earlier. You see the top of climb is over here. If I put 5 cost index, you see how much quicker you get there. Of course, that's because the speed decreases, so you go up quicker. But of course, in real life, you wouldn't do that because airlines are all about getting there fast, getting there first. Hi, Bacon Warrior. Thank you for joining. Okay, let's start talking about, we have only 200 miles and it's a very complicated stuff that we have to do on arrival. So I need to explain you everything about Salzburg, which is a lot. So let's load Salzburg. Arrival, we said, is going to be the body 1 hour. We're going to do an approach ILS. Then we're going to do an ILS, and then I'm going to show you this go around procedure, which is quite particular. Then we need this one, minimums for missed approach gradients, that I will explain in a second, and then we're going to come back and do the circle to land. Approach, circling runway 33, and then we'll do the chart for the airport. Now let's see if I can explain you everything. Basically, a few things. I don't know if you can see the chart. Let me know. I make it a bit bigger. Let me know if it's clear enough, if you can read. So basically, missed approach is complicated because of course here we have this valley with mountains all around. So the name of the game is doing a turn as tight as you possibly can while climbing as fast as you possibly can. As simple as that. So you see, for example, here, for minimums based on a missed approach climb gradient of less than 5%, see another thing. So these minimums that you see here, 1800, is based on a missed approach climb gradient of 5%. Your climb gradient will be dictated by your performance, needless to say. So what plane you're flying and how heavy you are. So for example, if we check, I have a document here that shows you for an A319, according to the landing weight you have on the day, you have a specific climb gradient. So today, if we go and take our operational flight plan, we should be landing at 56.3 tons. That should be the landing weight today. So if we go and check here, 56.3, we are here. It means we shouldn't be able to do 5%. Now the Toliss is an actual rocket, so we will definitely do that. But for the sake of doing it realistically, we consider that we're going to be on a 4%. So as you can see here, for a 5% gives you 1,800 of minimums. But if you take here, it gives you 4 a missed approach climb gradient of 4%. The minimums is actually 1880. So it's 80 feet extra. And that's because, of course, if you have very high climb performance, you can go around at the last minute and still make sure that you climb fast enough. But if you're very slow to climb, you need to start your missed approach a lot earlier. Okay, I don't know if you've ever seen, probably Captain did something like this in an airport that had the same technical issue, let's say. Now, the missed approach procedure is climb straight ahead to 2 miles OES, which is the localizer that we're using for the glide slope. So after the localizer, 2 miles, and then we start a left turn, climbing via the locator, so the SI locator, this one over here, and then the SBG NDB, and then at the SBG VOR. If you fly to Salzburg, be careful with the FMS. It gets very confused because there's 2 navets called SBG next to each other, and one is the NDB, so the locator, and one is the VOR. So for example, let's sort out already the missed approach procedure. I'll show you here. If we go on flight plan, you see you're supposed to turn back, go to the locator, so to the NDB, and then go to the go to the to this locator, which is not an NDB, it's a locator, and then go to the NDB, which is this one, and then to the VOR. While here you see it skips the NDB, and that's because it has coded only one SBG. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna delete that SBG, then after psi we're gonna put SBG, and that's going to be the NDB, this one. There we go. As you can see, now we're going to the NDB first, and then after SBG we're gonna put the other SBG, which is the VOR 113.8. There we are, and that's the way it should be flown. Perfect, that's it. Now, as we were saying, that's it. So it's in the medial left turn. We have a, for Cat C, approach turn needs to be at a maximum of 165 knots and a minimum bank of 20 degrees. So normally on missed approach you start accelerating, while today we won't. We will stay at actually F speed to make sure we don't accelerate. So of course, because if you were to accelerate here, you would end up in the mountain. So that's it, but we'll brief it in a minute. First of all, let's go back. Okay, we're in cruise 310, alt cruise is there, so we're good. Let's put the radar facing down and tilt, we put it back to 0. Now descent, we're gonna descend at 360 knots or 0.73. That's a bit fast. Well, we're not gonna get shortcuts. Like, it's fine to come down as fast as you possibly can. It's okay. Bear in mind, if you're expecting before coming down, just a suggestion, especially if you're on VATSIM, if you're likely to receive a shortcut because you have a more complicated, let's say, procedure. This is quite straightforward actually today. There's not many turns, so it's not very likely that they're gonna give us you can cut a little bit here, but it's not very likely. In certain arrivals that are really complicated, if you think that they might give you a shortcut, it's not a very good idea to go down with a very high cost index. So that means that you're going to be very, very close to your VMO, to your maximum speed. So if they gave you a shortcut and you needed to increase your rate of descent, you wouldn't be able to use speed to help you with that. So just be careful with that. Today shouldn't be a problem, so we can leave it. There we go. Let's check the flight plan. Okay, first check I do is just a quick check of what we want to lose in terms of altitude, and we have the right profile. So here we're losing 20, so we're losing 20,000 feet in 52 miles. So you need normally 3 times. This is less than 3, but we're going down at 316. We're going down very fast, so we have a lot of drag because of the speed. So we will make it in 52 miles. Then we're losing 5 in 20, which is good. In case we were a bit fast, we need to 5 in 20 is okay. Then we need to lose 65 knots, so that's okay. Might need to use a little bit of spoiler, but we should be okay. Then we're losing 2,000 in 8. We're losing 130 in 2 because we're decelerating, and then we're losing nothing in 2, again decelerating. So it's a nice shallow glide here to slow down before we hit the final fix at 4,000 feet, and we descend for the last 8 miles. So yeah, that's all good. Gross error check, and it all works out. Double descend 128. Okay, let's brief what we're gonna do today. So we are on the Buddy 1 Romeo arrival. So we're gonna be at Buddy over here. That's the first point. You can see Buddy 1 Romeo here at 6,000 feet, and the constraint is 4,000 feet. So that's good. Hi Mariner, thank you for joining us. Hi boss. Hi there. Now 4,000 feet, you've arrived at the right point. We're just briefing the arrival. So Buddy at 4,000, then we have 10 miles and we get to the SPG, to the VOR above 4,000. So there we're going to be at 4,009. So that's good. Nothing to note particular here. There's no other constraint, no speed constraints. So that's all going to be good. Now the approach. So the localizer frequency is going to be 109.9, and it's not there at the moment. It will auto-tune closer to the airport. Glide slope check, we have 3,000, so we'll make a note of that. No, that's normally a check that you need to do once you go down on the glide slope, to check that your QNH is correct and that the glide slope is working properly and everything. You do one final check before landing, which is checking this altitude at this DME. So just make a note of that normally. Then airport elevation is 1411, and again I write down next to the 3,000, 3,911. So you know your radar altitude comes alive at 2,500. We are at this one, so we're expecting the radar altitude to come alive at 3,900 today. MSA is quite dramatic. After the VOR is 11,000. So needless to say, after the VOR we make sure we stray from this path. Just look at that. It's absolutely everywhere. So in terms of awareness, let's go on the flight plan and put a fix. We'll add a fix info. This is based on the SPG VOR, so we put SPG. Here select the VOR 113.8, and then we do 080260 and a radius of 25 miles, which is what this circle is. Let's check that it's there. There we go. So we have a bit of situational awareness. So 4,000 feet in this half of the pie and 11,000 feet this half of the pie. Good, then the missed approach procedure, let's review. Missed approach, the minimum is 1880. If we go around, we wait until we are 2 miles OES, then we take a left turn as tight as possible, and we come back to the SI locator, and then we continue to the NDB and to the VOR, and then we hold there on this hold at SPG. Then over here we'll see that when we start the glide slope is going to be 8 miles, so we want to be at 180. Let's check the perf page for the approach. S speed is going to be 180, which is perfect. That's the speed we want to be at when we start the glide slope. So what we're going to do, clean speed is 200. We're going to be +1. So as we go down, we go to green dot, which is going to be 200. We're happy to keep 200 until around about here, 11 miles. So we'll put flaps 1 just as we're crossing the NDB, and then we'll do flaps 2 immediately before sending down. So we can start slow. That's it. So we have a plan for flaps, always make in your head a plan on when to do all the flaps. So look at this one and plan accordingly. And then after that we'll put gear down and flaps 3 and full when needed, depending on how we're decelerating and wind and etc. We said that the missed approach is, so the MDA is going to be 1880, and we can already put it there. There we go. That's all really for this chart, nothing else. And then the last one, we're just gonna check our airport. So if we land on 15, which we want today, but has 2750, so auto brake low, it's more than enough, and then we'll vacate via echo, come back. Perfect. So arrival briefing is complete. Let's get the meter. For Salzburg is QNH 1022, so we put it already on the standby here, 1022. Temperature is 04. Wind is 230 at 04, so calm, fine. We can do both approaches. 230 at 4, MDA 1880, and then go around. Normally, you know that the thrust reduction and acceleration would be 1000 feet above airfield, but for this specific approach, because we're performance limited on this turn, we're going to put the missed approach altitude, so 6000 feet everywhere. Normally we would put it only on the engine out acceleration, but today we'll put it here. We'll climb like a rocket. You definitely don't want to reduce thrust and accelerate while you're trying to get away here. Bear in mind, Salzburg has as well, for authorized crew and aircrafts, has another procedure which has lower minimums. If you check the approach, you have the special 15. It's the same procedure, exactly the same, identical, but you can see that it has 15 instead of 18. So if you had really bad weather, a lower ceiling, you could use this one. But then to do this one, because of course if you go around, you're going around 300 feet below, you're a lot closer to the valley, then there's a lot of consideration. At that point you need to go down with APU on or with the packs off, and there's a lot more limited. See, the climb gradient for this one is 6%, so I'm definitely not using one today. Oh, we did a very quick briefing. 64, so let's do something. Let's go down a little less, like a stone. And let's do 25. Yes, 80 knots, so we must be flying literally sideways. Yeah. Yes, not bad for a crosswind. There we are, so let me double check that we have everything. Oh, one other thing that we can do. Ah, we do them secondary. So let's do the secondary. And then on the secondary, we're gonna put the circling to runway 33. Now, we do it today because we know we're gonna do the circling, but you know that in real life, you would always put, if there's two different approaches to a runway, especially if the wind direction and everything is a bit uncertain, you would always load already the other approach on the FMS in case air traffic control gives you a different approach and at the last minute. So we copy the active, secondary flight plan, copy the active, and then here we're gonna put, because it's a visual circling to land, we're just gonna do arrival. We're only gonna select runway 33, and that gives us just an extended center line and a center fix. So runway 33, no star, no via, no transition, and insert. And that one will just give us, see, an extended center line. It's going to be a manual flight anyway, but just gives us an idea whether we'll align or not. And that's it. And then the secondary flight plan, performance. The only difference is the MDA. So the MDA for the circle to land, you can see here, is going to be 2,600 feet. There we are. We don't have any contrail? Weird. Yeah, strange. We are at 31,000 feet, so we should have them. Odd. Let's say, so the plan was to arrive with 2.5. We have 3.1, so we're good for fuel. Okay, let's review our go around. So in case of go around, which, well, we'll force today, at a minimum of 1880, which we have programmed here. We're still quite far from the runway. We'll go, and it's not too warm. No, I was checking that, Bacon. It's and it's minus 22, minus 47. I thought, it's not particularly warm. Could be, I don't know exactly what, if there's a specific temperature that it needs to be, but looks to me that minus 47 should definitely be enough for contrails. Again, in case of go around, we'll go 1880, we'll go Toga, flats will go up one, but only one, and we'll stay there. Then gear up, we'll go nav straight away, and then we'll make this tight turn towards the side. And after that, we'll go on our hold. and regroup. We climb into 6,000 feet straight away. So 6,000 feet is going to be our missed approach altitude. So let's start the descent to 15,000 first. Nothing, no contrail. Nice. Ortho in this part of the world is very nice. I find France is the best I find for a generic Google orthos. There's very few color variations. But Germany is not bad either. Where are we at the moment? Germany? That's already... Oh yes, we are. Ah yes, Salzburg is literally on the border. Hello, WMKK. Thank you for joining us. Okay, 15 miles, nearly ready to go. We have loaded all the performance. Approach, we have everything, QNH, temperature, and etc. 44, 200, 180, 144. V up is going to be 133. And then here we loaded 6,000 feet everywhere. Oh, I didn't know Mozart was born there. Have you been to... Well, yeah, silly question. I guess you have been to Salzburg. I never been to Salzburg. Been to Austria only once. Oh, I need to go. That's a lovely country. There we go. So let's start descending. Oh, you see I was puffing around reading the chat, then I passed top of descent. It's fine, we'll make up. Young KK, you need some sleep. Oh, not the only one. I think I've slept a lot less now that we're on lockdown and for load with no not working than I've ever had when I was working. Yeah, Vienna must be stunning. Yeah, there are certain capitals like Vienna and Budapest that I really want to see. Oh yeah, gonna take a while, I guess. Yeah, so if we left the cost index at 50, we would have come down at 316, which is fast. This magenta indicator over here, so if you descend on minus descent, you're telling the plane that what is vital is to follow the vertical profile. So this green dot, right? So the plane, when you program the flight plan, the plane knows that it needs to be at a certain altitude on the final approach fix here. So it calculates backwards from there a profile, a geometrical profile at thrust idle, so with no thrust, that it takes you down all the way nice and smooth to that altitude. Of course, if there are altitude constraints or speed constraints, then it takes into consideration that. But what is really following is a very specifically computed vertical profile. So that takes priority. So the speed at that point is not a priority anymore. So if you had winds changing that pushed you down quicker or slower, then the plane tells you that, or it considers this range of speed acceptable to do everything it needs to stay on profile. So if it's going down not fast enough, it will increase the speed up to this level to make sure that it catches up on profile. And you can see, because for example, if you put, instead of pushing the knob and being in descent, if you pull it and you're in open descent, at this point that's an open descent. So the profile is not relevant anymore. The plane will always only follow the speed and disregard the profile. And that's it. We normally keep it on open descent to make sure we obey all the constraints. Pleasure. Oh, the sucker torte, Victor Tango, you've opened a can of worms. La torta sucker with the apricot jam. I need to go and find one now. You're a bad man. So good. Okay, let's pretend we've been cleared to flight level 90. And we have alt blue, flight level 90. Oh yeah, I went to Morrison's the other day, and I just bought a simple. They had a chocolate sponge. Just bought a simple chocolate sponge, and bought a jar of apricot jam and just made it at home. So good. But yeah, the glaze is vital. Without the glaze on top, it's not the same. Yeah, Bacon, I had, I think exactly, no, last June, what was it, last August? Me and my girlfriend, what would have been the most luxurious holiday in our life, which it wasn't anything particular, but it was a nice, small, sort of a luxury retreat up in the vineyards above Alicante, in a small old villa with just 6-7 rooms and with a private swimming pool and everything. We planned that. We found an offer. So looking forward to it, and then of course we had to cancel it. So no Spain. Last time we were in Spain was a couple of years ago. And we went to Andalusia, which is one of my favorite parts of the world. It's beautiful. I'm a lot, needless to say, into food, and Andalusia is stunning, absolutely stunning. Have you ever been to Sevilla? To Seville, Bacon? At the moment, it's my favorite city in the world. The tapas nights, of course, they do tapas nights everywhere, but in Sevilla, the life that is in the streets at night, it's insane. And you basically go from one place to another, so you stop in one tapeo, you have a couple of tapas and a glass of wine, and then you go to another, and then another, and another. Magenta dot on the ND, that is the point at which the plane will slow down for the 10,000 feet, 250 knots restriction. So if we follow it now, it's at 10 miles from us. We need to lose 3,000 feet, so that makes sense. The Toliss is exceptional. It's one of the very best planes to do that. There's many even good add-ons for X-Plane. Well, we're in clouds, so let's put the engine anti-ice. A lot of good air add-ons that do not slow down at 250 at 10,000, while the Toliss is phenomenal for that. So look when we're on the dot, look at this bracket. There we go, we're approaching the dot. We're doing now 295. On the dot it changes to 250, and that's the constraint. So it will level off to slow down and sure it reaches that. As it does, you can see the vertical profile here has gone up, because of course it's the profile that was like this has a flat section to slow down, then it starts again. If you don't slow down fast enough, because you might have a strong tailwind, you might see this green dot here going below the yellow line, which means at that point it's prioritizing the speed limit, but you are above the profile. So if you see it going down, it means you help yourself slowing down with some spoiler. But we're okay, still there, 260, so we're gonna make it. Now 10,000 feet. Thank you, WMKK, thank you very much, very kind. So 10,000 feet, we do the same checks that we did going up, but well, the same checks basically. So we check the lights, we're not in the States, so it's okay, they can stay off. Seatbelts go back on, engine anti-ice, we're out of the clouds, so we can put it back off. EFIS, we put back constraint on both sides. It's an ILS approach today, so we make sure we have the LS button pressed. ECAM, we checked that there was no failure. In case there were any failures, we of course have to brief accordingly. And then we check the MCDU. In this case, what we needed, we did it. We did all the performance and we loaded the secondary flight plan for the other runway. We're now descending flight level 914, flight level 80, standard set. So let's pretend we've been cleared to 4,000 feet. So we call then Eurowings 939 to descend to 4,000 feet, QNH 1022. So descend to 4,000 feet and set QNH 2. QNH 1022 set and cross check. And at this point we have alt blue 4,000, blue 1022. It's in blue, so we know we don't have any constraints. If we were to put lower than that, you can see the 4,000 feet above here. You can see 4,000 becomes magenta. This is a constraint. Yeah, there is a switch to meter. So if you go here on the SU, metric alt. So if you press this one, it gives you the meter. The meters here. It's just an indication. It doesn't change the way the FCU inputs the altitude. Yeah, it's just over here. That's metric altimeter. And of course, as you scroll the knob, it gives you an indication of what it is in meters over here. So the change in the QNH to arrival QNH is a trigger to do the approach checklist. So let's do that. ECAM status is checked. There's no failures, nothing. Approach briefing, we confirmed it for approach runway 15. Minima is set to 1880 baro on both sides. The approach phase is not active yet. It will activate at the D. There's no need to speed it up. And the QNH is set to 1022. So SPG, the speed that we're expecting to have is 230. So there's no need to activate the approach phase too early today because we have practically 4 miles of level flight. So we don't want to slow down too early. We can either wait to pass the D, the big magenta D here, and it will go automatic on approach phase, or we can do it manually. We're now 5 miles from SPG. We need to lose 1,000 feet, so we need 3 of those miles. Plus we need to slow down 20. So yeah, we can start slowing down now. We can go to the perf page and activate the approach phase a little earlier. And now we're targeting green dot. No, Meridiana MD-80, your first flight, Victor Tango. That's the livery I used to do the tutorial on the cold and dark tutorial on the MD-80. Beautiful. Meridiana was based on Olbia, which is where my used to be Alisarda before it merged, and that's where my father was born. So Alt Star, we capture 4,000 feet and speed. So we said we wanted to put flaps 1 just before the SPG NDB. At this point, we're close enough so we can activate the approach button and press autopilot 2. So we are Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1+2. We're VFE next below that, so we're good to put the flaps. We don't need spoilers or anything. Lock star, we capture the localizer. We can, at this point, we can start, well, you can turn the landing lights on. Go flaps 1. Yeah, look at those mountains. It's fine heading towards those mountains is must be quite scary. Okay, I will apologize in advance, guys. There's a lot to do from now on, so I will kind of, I know with only 30 people I should definitely be able to read, but I will try and focus. And then I'll have a look if you have any questions later. There we go. As I said, flaps 2, just before we intercept the glide slope. We start slowing down. Glide slope star. Now we set the missed approach altitude. So 6,000 feet missed approach altitude set. 2,500. We were expecting it to come alive at 3,900 roughly, and it's there. So position check, QNH 102. Now we're 7 miles at 160, so very good position in terms of speed. The checks are at 12 miles, 210, at 8 miles, 180, and at 4.5 miles, 160. So there's no need to rush the gear. And put the gear down at 4.5, 5 miles. Perfectly fine with speed. Gear down. As the gear comes down, we arm the spoiler, we turn the runway turn off on, the nose to taxi, and we're good. Gear is down. Let's put flaps 3. Signal the cabin crew. Flaps 3 down, flaps full. Now we can do the landing checklist. Auto brake is low and ICA memo landing, no blue. Now in case we go around, always review in your head the go around procedure, especially if you're on VATSIM. In case of go around, toga lever, flaps up 1, pitch up 15 degrees, man toga, SRS, go around track, then gear up and we climb. 1000 feet, we're stable. So now we'll try our go around. So the minimum is 1880. Let's try and be close to that. We can do the go around at any point. Let's pretend there's something on the runway. And we're going around, we get contacted by, let's do a bit closer. Because this is really a rocket. Okay, let's go. Go around. Toga. Go around flaps. So flaps 3. 15. Man toga, SRS. Go around track. Positive rate. Gear up. We push the heading knob for nav, so we revert onto nav. The real plane would do that automatically, but the Toliss doesn't, so always remember to push to fly the go around. Then the turn should have been very tight, and it isn't, so that's not good. So what we could do a direct to SI, but it takes a right turn, which is definitely wrong. We need to do a left turn. So what we can do, we can start a left turn manually. It takes a right turn because you see we're slightly to the right, so it's quicker to do a 180 from this side. So we can force a left turn by turning left first. Now commanding lever climb. Be careful on the go around, making sure that the speed is positive before you do thrust climb. Thrust climb, we're at F speed. Let's leave flaps 2. Now 2 miles. Oh yes, we start our left turn, and now we do direct to SI, and we insert. At this point we're doing our turn correctly. The minimum bank angle was 20, we're doing 30, so that's good. The speed was to be limited because we climbed so fast. We then busted that. We should have done technically probably that turn while we were still climbing, but Toliss is crazy. Sputnik. So let's just make sure it doesn't do any more than 165 until the turn is finished. There we are, finished the turn. We put the speed back into managed. We're above F speed, so we can put flaps 1. S-speed, flap 0. With flap 0, disarm the spoilers, turn the lights off. We'll do our takeoff climb checklist. So landing gear is up, ECAM is checked, and bar ref will keep it on QNH for now. Yeah, imagine in real life it must be incredible, but scary, but it must be stunning doing this go around, especially for those sitting on the right. And now we've passed the mountains, but you would see a lot of peaks. Now the hold is not programmed, so we need to program the hold. Hold is a SPG, so let's put it there. The second SPG, not the NDB, the VOR. So SPG, we do hold. Program the inbound course, which is 175, so inbound are this way, and it's a left turn. So 175, left turn. And there we go. And there we have it. The scenery is no, nothing. There's no particular scene. This is only classic orthos with X-Europe. But there's no airport scenery. It was causing some issues. I had one, but it wasn't anything special, let's say. Okay, now we need to brief for the circling approach. So we're gonna go down again on the ILS, and then we'll do the circling approach. To do the circling, you come down either the ILS or the localizer, and then once you're at the locator, the SI locator here, you start a left turn. So complete a published instrument approach to runway 15. After passing SI locator, fly visually approximately, I like this, approximately, on 125 degrees for 3.5 miles, then turn right onto final, runway 33. So what we're going to do, let's activate the approach phase now. Let's descend to 4,000, and then we do a bit of calculations. So what we're going to do, let's put a fixed info for SI. So let's add the locator here. SI 6 miles, that's the one. We do a radial 125, so we can see, we'll be able to see the turn on the MD. And then we need to time the 3.5 miles. Now, easy with the Airbus, because in the proc page here, you can put SI here, and then we'll know when we're at 3.5 miles. If it wasn't the Airbus, you will need to do it manually. So that's a bit more complicated. Now, you need to calculate your speed and everything. Now, let's see if I can show you that. If you can see. No, you probably cannot see the calculator. I had a trick ready, but I don't know if it's gonna work. Bear with me 1 second. New source. No, the calculator has disappeared. Anyway, I'll tell you what I'm doing. Strange, so strange. Oh yes, now you probably can see it. Yeah, we're descending. Sorry, I descended to 4,000 feet because that's where we need to be at to reintercept the ILS. So I did an open descent to 4,000 feet, a quick one. Now, calculating. If you check here, we need to check how long it's going to take us to fly 3.5 miles. Okay, so that's the name of the game. So we know that we will be flying at F speed, which is 144. What's the ground speed gonna be? And it depends a lot on the winds as well, but we are flying at 2,500 feet. So it's 2% more every 1,000 feet. So 2,500 feet is going to be roughly 5% more. So 144 times 5% more. So we should be flying at around a ground speed of around 151. At 151 ground speed, divide that by 60 and you get the miles per minute. So we will be doing 2.5 miles per minute. We need to do 3.5 divided by 2.5. We need 1.4 minutes. Then 0.4 minutes times 60, that's 24. So we need 1 minute and 24 seconds, roughly, depends on the wind, to do 3.5 miles. So let's remember 1 minute and 24 seconds. Now, we're here after the turn, so what we can do, first of all, let's finish. The MDA now becomes 2,600. Because it's this one from the circular approach, the MDA is 2,600. So we have it there. Now we're ready, so push the approach button and autopilot 2 again. So we have cut 3 dual, autopilot 1+2. We don't want to do all this strange turn, so we'll just go direct to SPG. There we go. We're at 4,000 feet. We want to be stable a little earlier this time. So I will slow down a little bit quicker. Victor Tango, yeah, X-Vision does things very similar to Reshade. You can add them together, but they do very similar. So just to recap, we need to go down. We need to level off at 2,600 feet. Once we reach SI, we need to turn towards 125 and we'll be already config full. We'll fly 3.5 miles or 1.1 minute and 24 seconds. And then we start a right turn and we start descending. Oh, pedals. Thank you. My feet are on the pedals. I would have totally forgotten. So, lock star again. Landing lights on. Flaps 1. Let's put flaps 2. 10 miles, we're doing 190, so that's absolutely fine. This is a visual procedure, so we need to triple check the QNH. Check your ATIS again. 1022, 1022, so that's correct. Glide slow star. Set the missed approach altitude. 6,000 feet, missed approach altitude set. Seven miles, 150. We need to level up to 2,600, so we want to configure a little earlier. So we go gear down now.
2,000.
Gear is down, so we do runway turn off, taxi lights, and a spoiler armed. Check for the glide slope is 3,000 at 4.9. Let's go flaps 3. 3,000 feet, 4.9, glide slope checked. Okay, we want to level off to a sec fault. Speed breakdown news, yeah, we're fine. 2,700 feet, we want to push the vertical speed button, so we level off at 2,600. Okay, now we can activate the secondary flight plan. No, it's fine, we'll activate it after the turn. Wants to select heading track, but we're not now, we're on localizer. So let's check 1.7 miles to the turn left. So we're doing 140. We can pre-select the heading now. There is 1.4 miles from the turning point. And we wait and we turn left. We're at S-speed as we said. Ground speed is 145. Because we have a little bit of headwind. It's gonna take even less. There we are. Let's pull heading 125. Is the Sec 3 is fine. We have Sec 1 working, so that's not a problem. Sec 3 off. And we're good. Speed brake, we're not planning to use it, so we can clear that. And we're good. Now we can activate the secondary. Activate the secondary, and we're good. So we have the center line. Flaps full now. Good.
Minimum.
We're waiting for 3.5 miles. And then we have in the other one, let's put the threshold of runway 33. So we can switch to that and check. Now we're going down. So approach check, landing checklist, auto brake is low, and landing no blue. 2.5 miles. Let's start getting rid of the ILS. We can get rid of the flight directors as well. And we can go autopilot off. Minor flight type control. Let's put the bird. Track 334, 3.5 miles, and we turn. Let's keep, where is the wind? Okay, let's keep a little bit more than 20. Let's start descending at, I don't know, let's say 500 feet per minute. Track goes on 334. Keep turning 500 feet per minute. Wish I had an F4 to tell me what we're doing, but I don't. We cannot even see the puppies. That's the magic of X-Plane. The puppies come up really late.
500.
Oh, puppy is too white, too red.
400.
Go back on at 3 degrees.
300. 200. 100. 50, 40,
We go. Auto brake. Spoilers up. Reverser full. Reverser green. $70 knots to the reversers. It was definitely not 193. Manual braking. Ooh, that was a blast. That was a very last minute alignment on the runway. That's a very tight. That shows you terrain, because the terrain normally you align a lot earlier with the runway. That one was very last minute. We'll have a look at that replay. It must be nice. Okay, off the runway. Spoilers disarmed. Strobe off, landing lights off, start the APU. Weather radar off. Flaps 0. Transponder to exponder. And then we can start the APU. There you go, after landing checklist. Exterior lights are set. We have only runway turn off and the nose to taxi. Flaps are 0. Ground spoiler disarmed. Disarmed. APU is started. PWS and radar are off, and TCAS standby, and it shows standby on the ECA. After landing checklist complete. Let's go and park and have a look at the replay. I am absolutely chuffed that Virgin Media decided to play ball until the end. After 4 restart of the stream and 2 reset of the modem hard reset, I literally unplugged it from the wall. Okay, about to turn into stand. Switch all the lights off. Check that the accumulator pressure is in the green. And crew cabin doors to manual and cross check. Crew cabin. Cabin crew. There we go. Everybody, welcome to Salzburg. Parking brake is on. APU is available. Engine 2 off, engine 1 off. Cockpit door unlocked, seatbelts off. Beacon off. Da 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 da. There we go. So parking checklist. We have parking brake is on, engines are off, slides. Door page, slides disarmed. Beacon is off, seatbelts are off, fuel pumps 6 off. ATC 2000 standby. No, Mariner, no. I'm just an armchair pilot. I'm nothing to do with aviation at all. I'm just a flight simmer like everybody else. Oh yeah. Millennium Falcon type rated. That's it. That's the only one. Okay, let's have a look at the replay. If everything crashes, it's because of the replay, but fingers crossed it won't. Actually, let's go from the threshold. There is one last minute turn. What tricks me every time with the 319 that I always flare too early because I'm used to the 321. There is a huge difference. Let's see. Flare too early and I floated. And then I had to slam it down. It's fine. Let's see. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Yeah, that wasn't 190 feet per minute. No chance. Yeah, that was good. I didn't expect it to be so late to align with the runway. It was really last minute turn. Look at that. Yeah, A321, I flare at 30 and it settles perfectly. A319, I wait even after 30, almost at 20. I flare and it goes flat too quickly and then it floats and then it loses speed, it loses energy and then it goes down too fast. Yeah, the spoilers wouldn't have deployed because of the Sec 3 fault. Center line was pretty darn good. So you see some spoilers did not deploy, but it did say somewhere in the fault when we cleared it, it said 2 spoilers were in up. Thank you, Lee. Thank you very much for joining. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope this was interesting and hopefully you guys get to do it for yourself. And well, if you have any suggestions for any tricky approaches or anything that you've seen, please pop me a line and I'll try and see what I can. This was really fun, really fun. Thank you. I've enjoyed massively sharing it with you guys. And thank you very much all for being here. And I hope I'll see you another time. Hopefully Virgin Mina will sort out the... Have a very good evening, guys. Thank you very much again. Bye now.